and I am the chair of the Education, Youth, and Young Adults Committee meeting. I'm excited to be with you all. We may have some members coming in within the next few minutes, but we are going to get started. I do want the other members of the committee to share their names.
Hello everyone, good evening. Thanks for being here. My name is Andres Madrigal. I'm the vice chair for this committee, and super excited that you guys all came here today.
Hey everyone, I'm Jacqueline De Jesus, and I am the member of Youth and Education Committee.
She's also the vice.
Oh, I'm also the vice chair for the Human Services.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about a collaborative event that we got going on this summer. I do need a motion. What? Okay, awesome. Can I get staff to introduce themselves, please?
Stephen Palmer is community coordinator.
Awesome, thank you.
Jackie.
Hi everyone, Saeed Bashar, the chief of staff for Councilmember Justin Sanchez.
Benjamin Ingle, Third Avenue.
Awesome, and we can get all of our community members.
Eric Garcia, Woodstock Library.
Awesome.
Aina Concepcion, Alliance Coordinator for Family and Youth Peer Support Services, Bronx Alliance.
Simone Allende, Program Supervisor for the Family and Youth Peer Support, Bronx Alliance.
Awesome. Awesome.
My name is Rosa Toro, and I am from DYCD, from the Department of Youth and Community Development from the Mayor's Office.
Anthony George, District Manager to the board. Good evening, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen. We have a full agenda. Just a reminder for all everyone that our meeting is being broadcast live on our social media platform, including our YouTube page. Please make sure you're speaking for the first time. Say your first and your last name for the record. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, we need a motion to make an amendment to this agenda.
Okay, sure, I'll raise the motion. I raise the motion to change an item in the new business agenda to add in DYCD to present and remove Walnut Bar and Grill from the agenda.
I, Jacqueline, second the motion.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. All right, so we're excited because at this committee, we like to do a community forum. So that means that members of the community who are not necessarily presenting or on the agenda have the ability to say their name, where they're from, their interests, why they came to this committee meeting, and any updates that they have from their organization or anything that they're working on in the community. So is there anybody that is not on the agenda that would like to share?
As I said before, my name is Saeed Bashar. I'm the chief of staff for Councilmember Justin Sanchez. I'm also a CB1 neighbor. I live on the wrong side of 159. Sorry. I'm right there on Portland. So here tonight just to introduce ourselves a little bit. I know that we're a new office and we're doing our best to make the rounds through all of the subcommittees as well. I know that normally at CB1, Anthony Jordan, our senior advisor, is our liaison, but I am our office's liaison for the South Bronx Youth Council, which is a project out of our office, and so I wanted to quickly just introduce that and talk a little bit about the work that we're doing on that front and encourage, we're trying to get the kids engaged. So super quickly, we had on our campaign side, we had canvassers, basically all kids from the district, and so they kind of became our kids and informed a lot of our approach to youth engagement, and one of the things that we did to kind of formalize that is the youth council. So it's a voluntary committee of kids. We have about 15 kids that come every meeting, and then 5 or 10 that have appeared once basically. But basically it is just an opportunity for youth to chime in with things about policy. So the council members co-sponsoring legislation to regulate the price of city bike now as a result of conversations with the kids. He also let them allocate $25,000 of the youth discretionary initiative money that our office gets to allocate. So we do that to say we are committed to actually listening. And I know that one of the biggest feedback that we've gotten from our kids about when they step into these spaces is that they're asked for their input, but then they're just talked over the whole time. And so we've made a very clear commitment of it's a little more like a living room vibe in our office when that's happening, because it's really meant to just let the conversation flow, and then myself and other providers that are there, other CB reps and stuff, we just kind of pull out what they're talking about in an informal way. So our next meeting is on June 20th. I will give the caveat that with this meeting, we are also inviting our SYEP placements for the summer. If they'd like to participate in our final conversation about our summer calendar events, we are taking 25 SYEP kids. So
Wow.
might be a big thing, but that was again a part of me seeing the growth and impact of the kids that started with us as canvassers last year to now. They're like sending me news articles and they're paying attention to things they weren't paying attention to. Someone like dropped a chip bag and one of our kids was like, pick that up because we did community cleanups. So seeing that shift is something that we're thrilled about. So we're taking as many kids from the district as the providers are trying to place with us. So the next meeting will be super well attended, but it's really focused on the community calendar, which Anthony's got the sneak peek of. It will be published. We're going by the end of this week. We're just waiting on permits for Parks for our movie nights, confirmation of those dates. But I just can't stress enough. Like our office is very committed to youth engagement. So any ideas that y'all have, anything that we can do to support, the council member is very big on strengthening community institutions. So for FY27, I don't know if we're supposed to say that yet, but for FY27, there will be a strengthened relationship with CB1 from our office. To support whatever the ideas are, and if there's anything that we can do to, support beyond that, please let us know. We're also piloting a youth advocacy fellowship program with CASW Kids, who's one of our big SYEP providers, that will give a stipend to kids starting as soon as SYEP ends and until it starts again next year, or pausing for WLG if they're eligible for that, as a means of trying to keep them engaged with things that they should be doing. And we know from our kids, like once SYEP ends, there's no job opportunities for people under 18. And so few kids are eligible for WLG, so then we just see then we're bringing right back to all of the stuff as soon as like the legal money stops being available to them. So we're really very committed. It's one of the biggest allocations we're making out of our local pot. So it's a real thing for us. So I just wanted to kind of introduce us, the work that we're doing, and really underscore like we are here to be a partner, and any ideas that you have and any support you need. We'll have youth advocacy fellows that are looking for things to do and other ways to engage more youth. So looking forward to whatever comes over the next couple of years.
That's awesome. I have a question. So are your youth advocates going to only be the SYEP participants, or you'll have some that are SYEP and then some that are just youth advocates? Yeah,
the Youth Advocates Fellowship is not a formalized thing. It's funded through discretionary funding, so it's sorry for the city. Everybody comes with a lot of certs. In our case, it's very broadly worded. The goal is really just to create year-round funding for SYEP advocates to continue doing things like participating in student government, attending CDC meetings, like neighborhood safety councils, community board,
Yeah.
This is every community board youth committee that we've been to, there's always a discussion about how we want to see more youth, so maybe if we, stipend some to help with community outreach. So it's super open-ended and intended to really be an exploratory pilot year where we see what works and then figure out how we leverage institutional support for funding to scale that up in the future.
That's awesome. I know that your office, like the jurisdiction within Community Board 1 it's not like the biggest parts of Community Board 1. So if there was a student that wanted to be a part of this, but they live on across the street from what the parameters are of your city council district, will they still qualify?
Yeah, so the reason we switched it after the first meeting from the District 17 Youth Council to the South Bronx Youth Council was because you live in one jurisdiction, you go to school in the other, the park that you go to or the center that you go to is in another, and as I'm sure we all know, these borders are arbitrary and don't impact the daily life. So it's South Bronx for that reason. The one caveat I will give in terms of the selection for those fellows is that the CBO is doing interviews with our youth council participants to identify the participants, as opposed to just like an open call thing. The kids who are in our
Awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? Christina.
I just want to build on that, Madam Chair, what the Chief of Staff is also saying, that amazing hitting the ground running partnership with the office, having passionate conversations on what the issues are in our district, and we have made a commitment of working with this office and helping to do the civic engagement part with some of some youth workers. As you know, when I came on, one of the things that we wanted to bring to this community board is to have young people engaged. And it's like the Chief of Staff said, our seniors say no one's asking them questions, and young people saying no one's listening. And so, building on that, we wanted the first council members ever said, I got to see some youth workers too, and I want to engage them civically into the community boards. Stephen and I are already thinking about ways of how to get them involved in understanding the work of the community board, the assessment, and of course under your leadership and how you want to engage young people in this committee and on the board. We're going to be working over the summer, engaging them in so many different ways of saying they are the solutions to the various issues that are impacting and to highlight them. Understanding how to use 301, how to use technology, how to look at everything that happens in the city about how to engage and hold government accountable. So thanks to the leadership of the council member and his office and his team that this program, we have great ideas about how this is going to expand, and definitely encourage as many youth as possible to be able to continue to be involved in this and the work that the council member's office is doing.
Yeah, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Can you email us this if you
Yes.
haven't already? Okay, perfect, so that we can put it on our socials and send it out to everybody else. Is there anybody else that is here as a community member that wants to share something before we get into our presentations? No? Okay, so we're gonna move forward with our presentations. I think we're gonna start with the Woodstock Library.
I have a presentation.
Please, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Eric Garcia, and I am a young adult librarian at the Woodstock Library of the Public Library. We are literally like 10 or 15 minutes, like right up the block up here. Just go up the hill on 156, make a left on right on 160th, and you'll see us right there, in between 4th and 5th Avenue. I'm just gonna give a quick presentation, mainly highlighting the teen center because that's what this is tonight. So I'm very excited to be here. Again, thank you for having me. It's a quick little image of our teen center. It's not the biggest, but it's there now. And I think tonight's presentation on my end is going to really focus and highlight on the teen centers. That is because not all libraries are teen centers. Woodstock, we are very glad and very lucky to be one of the teen centers within New York City, specifically the South Bronx. There are a lot of branches in the South Bronx, but not all of them are teen centers. So because we are one, my main goal and my main focus is on trying to expand the teen center and just spread the word to the community, let the teens know that, hey, we're here. Here's what we have to offer for you guys. It's all free. Come on in, it's fun. The biggest thing with me is, funny enough, I actually grew up in the area. I used to always pass by the library. I never stepped foot inside. I always thought I was one of those too cool to get the library. And in hindsight, it's like, well, it's silly of me. But now that I'm working at the library, I think, if I missed out, how can I let the future not miss out on what's amazing? And there's even more now. So that's kind of been my main goal for my time. Real quick, this is over my presentation on the Teens 360 Initiative, Teen Centers, and that's good stuff. Real quick. Of course, in your public library throughout New York City, we are mainly in the Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Woodstock, South Bronx. We'll get through the whole good stuff in a bit. All right, cool. So the Teens 360 Initiative, it's a Tisch youth education program. That's just who funds our programs. Of course, when teens come in, we don't tell them, hey, we're funded by the Tisch family. That's not really what they come in for. But like I said, the goal here is to always let them know that we're more than just books. Well, books and reading is our goal, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I look at the library as a place to just come in, hang out, chill. Most recently, we've had cameras and they're like professional DSLRs. And I think it's beautiful because sometimes growing up teens, we want cameras at a young age, but they're too expensive to buy. We end up breaking them. We have them for free. They can borrow them as if they were a book. And not many teens know that. So my goal is to get the word out, let them know, hey, it's a professional camera. You don't have to go out and buy it. If photography is not your thing, at least you tried it. You have the real deal. But now, if you do want it, by all means, at least you know it's worth the investment. That's one of the things we have. But of course, we have a lot of space for arts and crafts. We have a PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, things that people don't even know libraries have. And we have this stigma that it's just a quiet place, and by all means, it is. But at the same time, we are a community center. We are there. We're free. We don't require signups. The only thing you're signing up for is a library card, which is the keys to the city. But after that, we never collect information. We don't share information. You don't have to give us your name or you just show up whenever you're there. I have a calendar here actually, real quick. I want to highlight. The majority of our programs take place Monday through Fridays, usually after school around 4 o'clock. That's only because what I've noticed from my time there is that a lot of teens show up around 3:30 and afterwards, and that is mainly because that's the time that the schools around us end at. Usually they get food and then they stop by the library. So I figured 4 o'clock always works. Quick rundown, Mondays are our arts and craft days, it's called Make It Monday. We have different things from graffiti art, zine making, character design on the computer, 3D printers. Tuesdays, I called it Level Up Tuesdays, that's just our gaming programs, that's our more popular programs. And what stands out to me the most is not that they're playing video games, but it's more so of the old school. It reminds me of when I was younger playing like Xbox at home with my siblings or my cousins. It brings that connection where teams are able to actually come together rather than being at home online through microphones or whatever. It's like the old school, like, oh, we're together, we're in one space, we're sharing snacks, we're having conversations, we're getting to know one another, and we're just playing a fun game that we all like. Wednesdays recently have become a real life skills lab. For example, resume basics, budgeting basics, things of that nature where sometimes a lot of teams ask for, financial literacy, things of that nature. And like I said, we try to not make this a formal thing, but rather somewhere where it's just a drop-in session. What are your questions? What do you want to know? Here's what you should know. Things of that nature. Our turnout's not as high as I wish it would be, honestly, but that's why I'm here to hopefully, ask for your guys' help to spread the word. Like I said, it's nothing formal. It's all casual, just as long as they drop in, from there until we get the ball rolling. And then Thursdays became our pop culture club, so we do either anime or manga. Because it is a 250 years coming up, we're doing like a US 250 theme podcast where we talk all things USA. Then we just have, music, karaoke, things of that nature. Fridays are team takeover. Essentially, it's if you missed out on a Monday, you can do an arts and crafts project, you can do podcasts, and whatever you want to do through here, you can always do on a Friday. Or if you just want to come by, talk, relax, that's the time to really get to know us. That's what Fridays really is. Saturdays are usually our chill days, so no one really shows up as much. And then we are closed on Sundays. But like I said, we do have a lot of video equipment, photography equipment, and it's all free. They don't have to pay for it. Like I said, they don't have to sign up for it. The only thing they can take out are the cameras. Other than that, of course, like every other library, we have computers, we have Wi-Fi. For the teams, we have MacBooks, we have iPads, so it's just a matter of getting the word out there. But we all have it. Not all the branches are team centers, but here are some of them. Woodstock, we're in the South Bronx, like I said, we're very lucky to be one of them. And one thing about us is I consider us like a hidden branch. When you think of the South Bronx, you probably think of the Melrose Library that just opened up, or reopened up. Hunts Point recently reopened up. Those are the more popular libraries within the South Bronx. Somebody says, hey, let's go to Woodstock. But we're there. The majority of our teams are only the school kids. Those who live around the area don't really tend to show up a lot. They'll show up every so often to get a book, and that's about it. So the goal is now that summer's coming up, I want the community there, not just the school kids. Of course, the summer school kids can still show up, but I'm trying it to be so that we get the community there as well. Not just the school kids, but all in all.
What's the address again?
760. I'm getting to that right now. It's 761 East 160th Street. That's it right there. It's my next line. So here are located at 761 East 160th Street. We are a Carnegie branch, so we're one of like the original. Oh, well, our facade is original. The building has been completely renovated. If you guys have ever been to the Woodstock branch, it used to just be a one-floor branch. Now we have the second floor full children's room. The front of the branch is for the adults, and the whole back area is the teen center. But because we are a Carnegie branch, we do have this little distinction where like it still looks old school, and the way Carnegie had a picture where libraries have to look like a school and
That's
education.
pretty.
Yeah, it still exists to this day, still standing. We've been around for like 114 years now, I think. Maybe my math might be wrong actually, but since 1914, so we've been around, and I want my time there to be. The way that I truly do measure my numbers, we do count our statistics, but I don't measure my numbers just by who's there. I like the conversations that I have with the teams, the engagement. I want them to know that the library is a place where they can come into, speak their truth, speak their minds, or they don't have to talk to anyone honestly. They can just be there, relax, chill. If that's their quiet place, that's their quiet place. But if that's their place to open up, that's their place to open up. My goal as a young adult librarian is for them to know who I am. They can trust me. Obviously, they can trust anyone within the library who works there, but my goal working with the team is, okay, at least you know when Eric is here. I do get a joy for that when they say, oh, is Eric in today? Oh, yeah, he's on break. He'll be down in a bit. Or I'll walk in and, they're, oh, my goat. I'm like, yeah, man. So that's really what's made, my job, the greatest part of my job. Don't get me wrong, I still love working with books, working on the collection, but I think just being that, I wouldn't call it a role model per se, but just being that person who the teens can see someone who they can relate to. That is the most important thing that's been to me. Like I said, I was born and raised in the South Bronx. I grew up around all of 3rd Avenue. I've never really settled from the library. I've met a lot of people who always say, oh, growing up, I loved the library. I never did, unfortunately, and it sucks, but like I said, I'm trying to make up for that now by just spreading the joy of the library now, letting the teens know that we exist. We're open throughout the summer. It's free, like I said, there's no formal signups. The only thing they need parent permission for is to check out a camera now because cameras are expensive. But other than that, it just teaches them responsibility. So, like I said, that's my main goal right now. Of course, with a library card, that's the keys to the city. The good old library card, you can borrow books. You can use our computers if you don't have one at home, or if you have a computer at home, you can use certain databases. I always let the teams know, like, it's not hard to do research. Come in, we'll show you how, and it's been a good process showing them how to use exactly. Because sometimes they just use Google, they use ChatGPT. I'm like, these sources, ChatGPT is good, I tell them, but it's not great. It's easy to identify. And they say, oh, how do you know if we're using it? I'm like, every team has a voice. The way you speak, that's your voice. That's how you sound when you speak. So if I'm reading this, I know this is not how you speak, and this is not you who wrote it. It's little things like that I let them know we can help them out with. We have access to a bunch of databases such as JSON. These are databases that I went to use in college, and I'm like, if I can show this to the teens now, by the time they get to college, they'll be at least slightly aware and familiar with it, so it doesn't become that much of a challenge. But other than that, we do offer opposite programs for all ages. And for the teens, we are also a CCP hub, so we offer college and career programs. And we are also fortunate enough to be an ICANN branch, or an ICANN hub. It stands for Intensive Career, I should have known this off my head, Intensive College and Career, something. But essentially, they work one-on-one with us, the teen librarians. I recently worked with two students. One of them, she's a junior. She's going to her senior year next year, and the other one that's NYU. How much did I have to do with that? Probably not a lot, but it was great. Just being there through the whole, from October up until June, seeing her graduate, and knowing that she's going off to NYU with basically little to no pay on her end. That's always satisfying to see. So, beautiful. So like I said, our teen center at Woodstock is small, but the main goal that I always try to highlight is just having the teens coming in. I can tell you guys what we have to offer. I can always tell the teens or the parents what we offer, but it's not the same thing if they come in and experience it for themselves. It's a little hard because I also live on this principle where I will never force a teen to stay at the library, or you have to come in. Same thing if you do stop by, I don't force them to fully always interact with us. Oh, I'm young, the librarian, talk to me. I let them slowly, interact with me. Oh, hey, my name is Eric, if you ever need anything, I'm here. Then it gets to the point where we start building the rapport, and then, from there on out, they know who I am, I know who they are, they know what they want to participate in, they know what they don't want to participate in. But all in all, the goal is to really have that space where, okay, people know, the library's open, we're a community center, school's out, where the kids are, they're at the library. That's the main goal. This is just a few little key takeaways, like I said. I think that's pretty much all I got. Questions, comments, concerns.
That was so good.
What would the summer look like?
Well, that's what part of me being here is that theoretically what I said, that's how I want the summer to look like. But in all honesty, the summers do get very, very quiet at the library, and it's understandable. A lot of teens go on vacation. But what I've also noticed, like I said, is that the teens who do go to the library, at least Woodstock, they're only there because they go to school around there. Those who actually live around the area either just don't go to the library, or I really don't know. Like I said, I try my best to be like, hey, stop, come on in. But the goal is to get to the library. So this is our calendar for June. It'll look like this for July as well, fairly similar.
Is it 4:00 in July, or is it?
Well,
during
I'm
the
trying to
day?
make it earlier, like around 2. I think someone's outside trying to get our attention. I don't know, but there's I'm sorry about that. For the summer, I am trying to make it around like early, like 2:00, maybe 1:00. But it's still tricky because I know a lot of the kids do have summer school, so they're still in school, or they have like summer programs, like summer bridge when you're like in
I guess I'm talking about the students that don't have summer school, and they did not get selected for SYP,
Right.
so they have like all this time.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
So-
theoretically, because we are a teen center as well, our goal is to always just have everything readily available. So they come in and say, hey, I'm just here to edit my podcast, or I want to mess around with the camera. By all means, here it is. So it's more like walk in, grab and go, stay if you wish. If you don't have to stay. But
But the programming is not available in the summer.
No, it's always available. For now, it's still 4:00. I might move it to 3:00, but yeah, it'll always be there, and it's always updated on our website. So you'll always see the updated calendars. You'll see the times and everything. But yeah, the programs are year round. They never change. I try to keep it still Monday through Friday, just in case, and that's why I leave Fridays as team takeover, because if someone did miss this on this Monday, for example, oh cool, let's do it on this Friday. That's usually how it is. Yeah.
I have a question. What's the youngest age that a teen can come
Well,
without parents?
yeah, so teens can show up without their parent regardless, but technically 12 and below, that's considered children at the library, so they would need their parents to sign them up for a library card. However, if a child is in the library, we let them, we want them to know, at least, you're safe here, you do what you gotta do. But when it comes to teens, 13 to 17 is actually the cutoff. I usually have 18-year-olds in a teen center because they're in high school, so let's say they turned 18 yesterday or today. Technically, they're still in high school. I know some libraries, maybe in Manhattan, they allow like 18 or 19-year-olds. Here at Woodstock, it's strictly 17 to 13. You don't need a parent to sign up for a library card as well. So if the parents just send them off to the library to get their card, they sign up on the spot, they get it on the spot, and they're able to get the teen center, whether or not they want to participate or not. But they're always there. We let them know what's available, and if they need me, I'm right there.
I have a question as well. Well, first, thank you for all the work that you do. And recently, Anthony and we got to visit the Mott Haven
Right.
branch. It's nearby, and I've been to Woodstock as well. Inside's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask. I'm trying to see if I remember correctly, but the team at Mott Haven, one of the leaders of the library said that they have a program where I don't know if it's the ICANN or another program
It might
where
be the ICANN.
they participate and then they could be eligible to get a computer, or they could be
Right, so
eligible
that's
to get.
what ICANN does.
That
So
could be
at the end of
something
the
that could
ICANN
promote.
program- Thank you. I forgot to
Yeah,
mention that. In the
that
ICANN
was
program, they don't get a stipend per se, but they do.
Yes.
We call it a magic grant.
Okay,
And depending on the degree, they get anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500.
Wow.
So
that's
they're able
awesome.
to technically they're able to. We purchase it on their behalf.
Yeah,
So based off of what they have, so both of my students got a MacBook and they have money left over for
That's
like headphones,
awesome.
AirPods. So
yes, and that's right through the program.
So even if you guys, it doesn't have to be at Woodstock. There's a bunch of ICANN locations. The applications should be open on the 15th. Some students told me it's open now, but the library says officially on June 15th. It's just a
Okay.
matter of searching up NYPL ICCAN ICANN.
Awesome, awesome.
All the information is there to apply, and towards the end, once they do complete the program, they do receive that $1,500 or $1,000
That's
magic grant.
amazing.
Wow.
And what is is there an age 13 to 17 as well? Or how old are they allowed to?
It's usually from 10th to 12th grade only.
Just 10th, right, okay, I remember she said
That's why
that.
that matters.
Isn't that something we could help promote and just drive people to the library to sign up? Or
Do you guys have a flyer for that program?
is there a flyer?
I do have
Or do you have
flyers,
ideas for
but-
infographics that you can
We could maybe
distribute
share on
here,
social
maybe? Like in
media.
the
Well, I
additional
brought my
calendars?
calendars out for now. If you want, I can email you.
Definitely,
Yeah, you can email it, I'll,
definitely,
shoot it over.
definitely.
Yeah.
Now, how you gonna come to the meeting unprepared?
I think we have some community members that wanted to ask.
I will say, a lot of our flyers
It's a
did get
great
handed out.
program.
No worries.
I just have some feedback.
I have a
Alright.
few calendars. No worries. If you guys.
Eric, we have some questions
Thank you.
in the community.
Just some feedback.
Thank you.
So the public schools, for summer school, they're only allowed to do a maximum of 2 classes. So they're only there about 5 hours. They're usually closed by 1.
Okay.
So anything like 2 and
Yeah,
3
that's.
would be okay, but 4 you might.
Yeah, I'm saying for the summer, the goal is to push it back earlier
Yeah.
or earlier in the day. I'm just trying to see how it works out with the traffic and
The
see what
3
actually.
and 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
That
but 2
hour they're
o'clock.
gonna, yeah.
That's the goal. I had it like that for a while last summer, but
Good feedback.
Yeah,
it didn't work. So we'll see what happens.
Sorry, can I take your email just immediately? One of the things that we're doing with our summer calendar with our kids is we're doing takeovers of different things that I would like to just personally put them onto. I don't know if y'all know Rocking the Boat in Hunts Point, they row on the water, and none of them have heard of this. So we're doing a takeover of Rocking the Boats. They all go rowing. So we'd love to do something. We were actually talking about trying to do a craft and creative skills thing. And photography was one of the big things, and figuring out where to get cameras was a giant question we had. So I think you just answered that question.
That's
So
perfect.
let's
Good.
do that. And then also just based on your location, we are, unfortunately, it's a little bit later in the summer, we're doing a bunch of stuff with Francis, McKinley, and Woodstock. So happy to send those dates also and have you table at
Of
them.
course, please.
We're doing with CD3 at the Hagen, we're doing a big block party all day with a film screening that night, but then also the back to school event for McKinley and Forest Houses together is gonna be a
That's right behind us. We're literally.
So and it will be the kids, because it's a back to school event. So I would love to just get your email.
Please, do you mind if I just right now or?
I have to, yeah. I have to-
Okay,
Sorry.
No, you guys can have my email. It's Eric Garcia, ERIC GARCIA Eric Garcia, ERIC GARCIA@nypl.org. That's my email.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you so much.
Alright.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. In any case, email me, or you guys can always call my branch, Woodstock Library, 718-665-6255, and ask for Eric. But, email me, please.
For the last two committee members that walked in, can you guys just state your name for the record, please?
Christina Cover.
Joyce Corpus. Thank you. All right, so the next one on our agenda is the Third Avenue bid.
Hey guys.
Hey,
It's Matt here.
good to see you.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm wearing the mask and I'll keep my presentation brief. But the bid is really interested in forming a deeper relationship with the community board and working closer together. And to that end, I wanted to propose applying to a community planning fellowship together through this committee or the Economic Development Committee. It is the Fund for the City of New York Community Planning Fellowship. Definitely recommend looking through what that fellowship is. I did it while in grad school, but what we would get essentially is a consultant, a grad level consultant to help us solve a problem with data and any kind of guidance we want. So it's really up to what I'm envisioning is the board and the bid apply together. And we would sort of interview a candidate, they would select. So the way it works is they get applications from planning graduates, public health, all sorts of graduates from Columbia, Pratt, Baruch, Hunter. It's about 20 people, and then they get proposals from community boards all throughout the city. And so then the fellows would select which the projects they want to do, they get matched. And then we have the opportunity to interview them and kind of guide them through deeper, more what we want to go through. So to that, yeah, so I think just kind of presenting that as something to look into. And I just want to go through some of the proposals and maybe just kind of go through some of the criteria to get you thinking. So proposals will be assessed on the following: clarity and specificity of project inquiry, goals, and research objectives. So I think we want to be really clear. I remember doing it and being told to keep it very simple. Like, what is one question we want to answer on Third Avenue? And in that, one of the possibilities is a retail composition and development study. That's a proposal that they have. So, thinking about that, like what is the future of development on Third Ave? That could be a project for a fellow to just sit with that one question. And, maybe there's some other ones that go along with that. Another thing that I'm thinking of that in the bid is we want a vacancy dashboard. It's a very tangible app that me and anyone on the community board could use on their phone as they pass by. Oh, a new business opened, one closed. It's like a real-time database for business closures and vacancies. And then behind that, it's like, what's the address? Who's the owner? What's the asking rent? Like all of the things that go into a vacancy. So we have the opportunity to submit two proposals, like one main project and then kind of a backup. So they have the retail composition and development as their kind of template, but we can propose anything. So yeah, I know you guys are going on summer recess. The application is due in September. So I'm happy to work on a lot of it and maybe run it by you guys throughout the summer. I'll be more available to do that July. And then I think if we have it wrapped up by mid-August and submit around then, that's what I'm thinking, but wanted to see what you guys thought about kind of bringing in a consultant for the committee. And, they would present at various times. And then if their work is really good, they can present to the full board and something that, the board has, the bid has. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that this is a good idea. Something that comes to my mind immediately as you were speaking was that conversation that we had around neighborhood safety with all of the charter schools opening up just on Third Avenue.
Yeah.
And what does traffic look like when we have 1,500 to 2,500 more students coming in, possibly cars being double parked. I'm not sure if that is something, that would be of interest, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
That's great, yeah.
No, yeah, for sure, and I think, just building off of that, I mean, there's been conversations with schools on how we're gonna get that implemented, and maybe just even, that could help, lay some, load off of NYPD as well, so we can definitely speak more about that, and I was also wondering, when it comes to the application process itself, is it more of a, written proposal we're writing, do you have to, cite any, specific data, or how would you be, developing that proposal
Yeah,
alongside
so
us?
I'm just gonna read from here, so, I think, Anthony or Stephen would submit on behalf of the board and committee. And then I think I could be maybe a backup contact as well. And what it is, there's, A through F. The research question, the background, so there is a good deal of background they want. Previous relevant research, technical skill set and qualities. So we want to think about what kind of technical questions, like if it's a traffic study, like that's something they would want to know. Are they comfortable with data? Is there any coding needed? Discuss if the project is a collaboration with the CB committee and or community partners. So I think explaining a little more about the bid, the history, our potential collaboration, and then what the final project deliverables would be, how you would define success. So I think really thinking it through, like what will we want at the end, because it is a year-long fellowship, so.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just add, all the ideas already shared, and something that came to mind to me was just what's next for Roberto Clemente Plaza, and thinking about ongoing programming, because even as we've been out for the book exchanges, there have been people who said, yeah, it's gated right now, and they're doing some things, but what does long-term, sustainable activation look like at the plaza, and supporting the surrounding community as the community continues to grapple with some of the challenges in the area. So yeah, interactive programming for youth at the plaza, or just ways that the plaza can continue to be activated, because these events this past couple weeks have been a lot of fun. So that's something that comes to mind for me.
That's good, Christina. Because I think when we think about the improvements of businesses,
Yeah.
that can't happen if the community is not being improved.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Hand in hand.
Yeah.
Is there anybody here that has any ideas, anything that you'd like to share? Anybody else on the board? I think that this is a great idea. Would we be doing this in partnership with the land use and zoning, or are you looking for one committee to say we would like to be a part of this?
It's a good question. I think either or. So I think it's mainly committee based, right? So I think you guys would apply as the committee, and I think you're right. Thinking about it, beyond economic development, I think there's some deeper things there that, I wasn't even coming to my mind. I was just kind of focused on the bid work, but let me see. We can look at it a little more thoroughly, but would we have time to reconnect during the summer? I know this is your last session, but yeah, I don't know how that happens formally with
So I think we would have to discuss as a committee,
Yeah.
and then potentially place a vote, and then get back to you. Now, the problem is, we don't meet again until September. I don't even know if we have quorum. Do we need quorum to be able to place
For
a
voting
vote?
on it, yeah. I think we have 50%, right?
We have quorum.
Yeah, we have quorum.
Can we add a vote to the agenda? Yeah.
Yep.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
All right, I'll make a motion to add this as a voting item, to authorize, collaboration between Third Avenue Bid and getting into this community planning fellowship. So.
I, Amanda, second that motion for collaboration.
Okay, is there any discussion on that?
I'm sorry, what's the desired outcome for today by adding this onto the agenda?
So we would just discuss this, and then we would be getting in this presentation collaboration with the Third Avenue Bid, so we get this fellowship application submitted.
How does that align with the other things we're discussing? Is that gonna bring us over time? What?
No, they would not bring this over time. This would just be a voting item, and then we'd get on to the next presentation. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
all right. Yeah, so then, so we will be in contact with you,
Okay,
for next steps.
yeah, I'll start working on kind of the bullet point proposals and just run it by you guys, and I want you to have the final say, and yeah. we'll take it from there. But
Awesome,
keep in mind like a September submission date.
okay,
Pardon my voice, I'm gonna go.
you're good, thank you.
Better.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Vibrant, the Bronx Alliance.
Hello everyone. Let me stand up.
Yeah.
Really.
To the camera.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Simone Allende, and I'm the program supervisor for the Family and Youth Peer Support Bronx Alliance. We're actually here on 3rd Ave, 149-36949. That's our address, 7th floor. So we are part of a Family and Youth Alliance here in New York City. We have our alliance in all 5 boroughs, but myself and my director here, Aina Concepcion, we are running the Bronx unit here. And we work with the entire borough, and we work with families and youth who are navigating the child service system. So that's ACS, foster care, JJ, mental health, education, OPW, DD, you name it, the child service systems. And basically, families out here, what we notice that they are having barriers in getting services for their children, right? Whether they have a mental health diagnosis, they have emotional behavioral problems. That's where we come in. We give them that extra support where we're actually sitting down with them, going over why we're not getting these services, right? So that means we're going over evals, we're going over application process. We looking at who they contacted, caseworkers, things like that, to make sure that they're getting the services. Our main target area is the undocumented families, which is undocumented, uninsured, and undiagnosed families and youth. All our services are free. We don't ask for nothing, no insurance, anything like that. We work for the families, basically. We make them comfortable about, getting the services and things like that. And we meet them where they're at. And the reason why I say that is because in order for us to do this job, we have to have the lived experience. So when I first started 8 years ago, I started as a family pet advocate, and I didn't even know this was a job because I was navigating the system for my son. He's on the spectrum 15, and I didn't know this was a job. So I was like, wow, me advocating, going to do this work, I could actually get paid for it. Like, sign me up. But in that journey of becoming a family pet advocate, I was making it better for the families, right? So what I didn't have when I was stressing and looking at documents and paperwork, didn't understand anything, I made it much easier for the next person, whether that was the mom, the dad, the grandma, the aunt that's taking care of her nieces and nephews, anybody that's a caretaker, I made it more easier than her. And that's what makes us more special about our program is that we have that lived experience. We've navigated those systems personally where we can resonate with the families and the youth a little bit more. On our staff, we have family peer advocates that they work with the families, and we also have our youth peer advocates that they work with the youth that are personally going through those issues themselves, that they are having trouble navigating. I could say we have youth that foster care system, when they age out, it's like, I gotta have an apartment, I gotta have this, and sometimes the agencies, they don't fall through. So it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be homeless. That's where we come in, where we're like, no, we're not letting you be homeless. Like, let's circle back. Like, who are you working with? The agency, we're going back, and we're going back fighting, right? So we're teaching them also the advocacy skills that they need to learn as well, not just getting through life, trying to, we want them to have those skills so that way they're learning it for themselves, and also they're learning it for the next generation as well. We also want our families and our youth to actually be the next advocates as well. So we're always looking for our families who have that strong strength that we know we are good at getting the DOE. Like, we might wanna hire that family to be a family peer advocate for the next family. So we always look at the community and make sure like, hey, like we think you're a good advocate. We might not have a space in the Bronx for you, but we know in our alliance, because we're in all 5 boroughs, they might have a space for that family to be a family peer advocate or our youth peer advocate as well. Which we are hiring for a youth peer advocate. If y'all know anybody, we are in need of a youth peer advocate at our site here in the Bronx. I'm trying to think if I left anything else. So we do parenting classes, we do parent workshops, youth groups. The peer-to-peer is what really gets our families in and our youth, is that they're having that one-on-one. And sometimes it gets misconstrued that it's like a therapy session, but we're like, no, we're teaching you the advocacy skills that's going on. Even though they're telling us what's really going on with them, we're okay with listening to that. And then that's what we ask them, do you really need anything else from us? Like, we try to get those resources and that for them, and we teach them how to get those, right? So today, like, we're here just sharing about us, and we hope that you all get to share about what we do. And we just want to be more involved in the community and letting the community know that we're here. Like, we're literally steps away from here. And we just want to collaborate with you guys a little bit more and share what we're doing in the community in the Bronx, because our services are definitely needed for, like I said, moms, grandparents, aunts, uncles. We don't discriminate anybody that's a caretaker. We're just here to give that extra support and give that helping hand, because it is hard raising our youth now. They're in the street more than ever. I was, unfortunately, Eric, I was in the library. So I was a bookworm, so I got to be in the library a lot of the times because that was like my safe haven. And I'm a bookworm. You can ask, I have a ton of books that are all on my desk at the office. So I'm a bookworm, but nowadays our generation is a little bit different. We just want to make that safe space for the youth. We are planning to move. But we do want to create that safe space for the youth at the Family and Youth Peer Support, because it's really about them. It's not about us. It's not about the numbers or how many we serving. It's really about the difference that we're making for them, make it easier for them. So that's pretty much my spiel. And if I left anything, please.
Just the age.
Yes. So the age range of the youth that we serve is from birth to 24. In order for them to work with a youth peer advocate, they have to be 9 years old to age 24. But after 24, we do have other programs that we can, do that one handoff, and that's one thing we do in our program, is that when we do hand over the families to like doing a referral process, we make sure they have that one handoff. I learned from her today, the hot hand. But we make sure that they're getting that therapy. Like, did you do your intake? How was your first session? Do you feel comfortable with that person? If not, let's find somebody else. The same thing with schools. Hey, we went through the IEP process. The mom be like, you know what, we did all of this. I don't even think this is a fit. Like, can you help me with that? And that's fine. We have no problem in doing that, because if the school district cannot service your child, they know right there they're breaking the education law. So right now they're thinking about money, and it's unfair to the student. So that's where we come in. We're like, hold up, no, like if y'all don't serve this student, why are they still here? We want to find that place for them where they're comfortable and where they're thriving. So those are some barriers that I could give y'all as an example for how we actually work with the families.
And we are able to support the families and the youth with wraparound services. Eric was mentioning something very important, that sometimes the youth, when they go into the libraries, and one of their passion is taking pictures and photography, they might not have the budget or the means to purchase these expensive cameras, right? But that's when we come and we get involved, where if the family and the youth is being serviced by us, as long as they within the system with us for 3 months, we are able to offer those parents and the youth that wrap around. What is it that you need help in? Why do you need this? Is this a goal? And then we'll help them with that. Apart from that we'll help the families pay rent, light bills, emergency food, emergency clothing. But it always has to be based on the need that they're coming in for. What is the barrier that's keeping you from getting those things on your own?
Yeah.
What other avenues have you tried that they are not supporting you, right? So, we're really big in that. And we take them to a lot of recreational places right now. Where last year we did all 6 water parks.
Yes.
We did live Broadway shows.
Yeah, 5 Broadway shows.
Wow.
We're trying to like really think outside of the box for the families and the youth.
They don't have to pay for anything, they
Anything,
just have to come
nothing.
with,
Just
just
come.
a water park, swimming pool, towel, bag, that's it. We do the bus, we do the meal voucher, we do the admission
Yes,
into
the
the
admission
water
ticket,
park.
so we pay for everything, they just gotta come, meet us where the bus is at, and then we don't ask for much when they get to the park, it's like go and enjoy the day. And it's really good for a lot of our families, especially for like our single moms, if they got 5 kids, it's like, I don't know what to do with them or something. And if they aren't with us, listen, we got these trips coming up and they come, they're like, oh my God, yes, like, and families have told us, and you've like, you made a difference. Like you made my summer, like, oh, I thought I was gonna have a boring summer, or I thought I was gonna have a boring year. So they really enjoy it, and we really ask them what they want as like the end of the year, right? So now we're in June, so we usually ask our families, so what do y'all wanna do to celebrate the end of the fiscal year for us? Do y'all wanna go on a trip? Do y'all wanna do a Broadway show? So we ask them, we like to get their input, cause it's, you know, I could be like, oh, we going to Donny Park, but the family's like, I don't wanna go to Donny Park. I wanna go to Splish Splash. Okay, we going to Splish Splash. So we like to get their feedback and what we do in our program, because yes, we're gonna help you get the services and things, but we also want another outcome. It's like that was a lot of hard work. Now let's celebrate. So that's one thing that we like to do, and we are in hopes that we could collaborate a little bit more with everybody. Eric, like you were talking, and I was just like, and my head was spinning. I'm like, I really want us to be a part of the summer with you, so that way we can help you get those youth that you need. Like we're on board on getting that. We're our youth peer advocates. Like if you need them to come in and do workshops and group, whatever you need, we want to partner with you on that to get those youth in, because I mean, summertime is, you know, it's pretty much, it's difficult to get them in. So we're here. I do have our one pager that I'm gonna give to everybody with our contact information, and I just want to say thank you all for having me.
Thank
Mix
you.
and six.
Yes. They were able to come last minute. They were just at the Bronx Hype earlier this morning, and we're doing some partnership. They're also going to be providing the entertainment for Bronx Hype Day / the Healthy Human Healthy Families Fair on August 1st with the Health and Human Services Committee. So we're very excited for the partnership. And when I told them that today was the committee meeting, they were like, okay, we're gonna be there.
Awesome.
So it just shows their commitment to the community and to the families. Does anybody have any questions for them?
I have a question. Yes, this is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is Vibrant, is it a nonprofit? Is it funded by, how is the city?
So our organization, Vibrant, is nonprofit. Vibrant has 15 different community programs.
Wow.
And we are funded by many places. The Family Youth Peer Support Service programs are funded from the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene, where then we have the 988 contract that belongs to us. That's through OMH. We have a few of our contracts with DYCB that we partner with them as well. We have different partnerships with NFL.
Yes, we
A
have
whole bunch of different partnerships.
Wow, thank you. We have a lot. We have pay coordinations. We have our medical political programs as well for families. So if we get a family and they don't fit our criteria, then we always make sure they fit in house.
For sure.
Before we refer them outside of our organization, we always see where they fit in house.
Wow.
And if they fit in house, we do that one handoff. So we work very hand in hand with our partners and our agency very well. So we always try to make sure like we don't
Thank you for the
work you do.
Yes. That's great.
I don't know if this young lady.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna move on with our next presenter. We have DYCG in the building, the workforce,
Thank you so much.
right?
Thank you.
All right, awesome. You can go ahead, you can get started.
Thank you so much.
So essentially, I did want to say thank you to everyone that presented. I think it's exciting just to hear the work that's happening in Community Board 1. I grew up in the South Bronx. I grew up on 136 in Cypress, and then my mom was able to buy a co-op on 138 in Alexander, and then now I live up the block, right here on Elton. So when they told me come present, it kind of, first I think the discussion was around, the questions that you might have for DYCD, but we also wanted to share some data, and some talking points regarding any of the concerns that you might have. DYCD is for the workforce program. They're historically known for their SYP program. This year, over 220 young people applied for SYP, which is historic numbers for us. We're only able to support 110,000.
Wow.
Because that's currently what the old administration had budgeted for. Hopefully with the new administration, we're able to match larger numbers, based on the need, because, we received 220,000 thus far applications for, for SYP. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
So we know that there's a need, in every of the communities that we service, but we did want to bring, historically everyone knows about SYP, but what we really wanted to bring awareness, was regarding our special initiative programs and our out-of-school, out-of-workforce programs. So these are programs that support young people that have a multitude of barriers, whether they're justice involved, whether it's housing, whether it's food insecurities, whether they've been disconnected from school and want to return and get their credentials, whether it's in plumbing, whether it's in a CDL license. Like, we're trying to be intentional about creating career pathways. Some young people are interested in starting as a CNA, eventually becoming a nurse. So there's a multitude of sectors that we support, nonprofit organizations to kind of build. As you know, the Door is one of our biggest partners in this work, and we're excited when they opened the hub here in the South Bronx. Historically, they've always been in Soho, and they were very intentional about coming, to the South Bronx because there was such a huge need. We also have Common Point Bronx. Historically, they've always worked in Queens, and they did such great work that they decided to open a hub in the Bronx as well. And they took over the old Madison Square Community Center. I think it's by Jackson Avenue. And so essentially, we're trying to bring more awareness about our programs, separate and apart from the famous one that is SYP, because there's a lot of opportunity. So I'm going to just share some numbers to kind of tell you of some of the work that we do specifically for the out-of-school, out-of-workforce programs. So we have 315 work sites for young people, whether it's specific to culinary, whether it's specific to CDL. We have also a lot of young people working in construction. I mean, there's a list, and we shared it in the email, but I'll reshare it just in case if it wasn't received. We have 26 different community-based organizations specifically in this district, and I could name them all, but essentially we know that it's Children's Aid, Aspida, Catholic Charities, there's The Door, Common Point, there's a multitude of organizations, that we work with. And just specifically for our community-based organizations, specifically for our out-of-school, out-of-workforce programs, we have over 4,000 young people enrolled in these specific, different sector-specific tracks. We also have pre-HSC and HSC programs, which help young people get their GED so that they could eventually go into a credentialing track, because a lot of our young people do not want to go to college. And the idea is that we partner with CUNYs to kind of, even though they're doing a credential, the idea is that if we put you in this space, you're going to feel like you belong in this space. Because it's hard to believe that you have the capacity to belong in this space if you've been disconnected for so long. And so we're being very intentional about, connecting with hostels, Lehman, all the CUNYs, so that young people still are getting their credentials. They're going to be CNAs. They want to do CDLs, but they're in that environment. And so when you see them graduate, you see them get their credentials, you see a sense of belonging, but also like, I can do this. So maybe I can continue with a post-secondary education. Some of them opt into apprenticeships. And so we want to be intentional about creating these pathways for our young adults. Our latest initiative, which we're really excited about, and it was based on a lot of community feedback, which is our CRED program. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but it's also a job opportunity credential program but we heard that there, our programs usually serve 16 to 24, but there was a huge need for our adults. And so now the CRED program supports 18-year-olds to 40-year-olds. And so they're able to get their CDL license, because a lot of them are just as involved, they're returning back, yeah. And so we're really excited about, our CRED programs. We could definitely share all the information of what specific organizations are supporting CRED programs, advance and earn programs, train and earn programs, which are our credentialing track, DYCD funded out of school, out of work programs. Some are federally funded by WIOA, and some are city funded, through our tax levy money. But essentially, the only difference with the Advance and Earn program is that we support young people to get their GED, and then we create a pathway in order for them to get credentialed. The Train and Earn program, you have to come in with a high school diploma or a GED, because some of the credentialing tracks, for example, for phlebotomy, for EMT, for specifics, you have to come in with a high school diploma. So we want to be able to create opportunities for those that don't have a high school diploma, for those that do, get them on a path to be able to start. And then now with our new CRED program, we've expanded, to 40 years old. So we wanted to share kind of like, the capacity, our special initiative programs. We also have NYCHA specific programs to support young adults that are part of NYCHA. We're servicing about 879 young adults in the NYCHA programs. For our Career Ready, which he mentioned, our Work Learning Rows, those are in-school based programs for young people that we're trying to get them into post-secondary education. In this specific district, we're serving 1,265 young people. And so, we've expanded in a positive way, specifically because we knew, that there was a need in this specific district. And I don't know if you have any questions, any thoughts, but we wanted to share kind of the capacity that we're building, the intentionality behind it, because we know, historically everyone's aware about SYEP and we gear up, but we want to bring awareness about our other workforce programs that are extremely impactful. And they create opportunities for a lot of our young adults that are facing a multitude of barriers. And we hear the community, we hear the need. And so we wanted to also bring awareness regarding our CRED program.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. And thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me the opportunity. So I wanted to give us some context around this, why this conversation happened. So in our work as a community board, we have a responsibility to ensure that we work to review city services and how that these services are impacting our young people and our families in the community. And so in my work as district manager, calling to task us to be able to have a conversation and very passionate with the leaders of DYCD, the deputy mayor, and others to understand equitably how are these programs impacting our district. And so this was supposed to be part of a larger conversation where we're hoping to have with DYCD leaders as we begin to talk over the executive budget that the mayor is proposing. And of course, DYCD is releasing recently some concept papers, but also some RFPs for historic programs that have been renewed for a little over a decade or less. So, and that, this office also received a lot of inquiries from families and young people who have not had the opportunity when there are programs that have a lottery system, like a semi-employment program, that have been year after year have unfortunately not been chosen by that lottery. And so in that, my concern is the district managers, where it's going to happen to our young people who are not been chosen, who have lost faith and wanted to continue to apply for a lottery. And so in the larger discussion that we hope to have with the administration is to say, what is the systems, how are our young people are outreach to, what is the lottery system how does it choose equitably what young child gets chosen? For example, if a young kid didn't get chosen last year, does he or she have a higher possible stake in being chosen in the following year? Along with how are our programs going to be definitely servicing young people? We know this summer unfortunately, the public school system has their limitations of what they can do. And so it is important to know upon our publicly funded programs to be able to show our tax dollars, federal, state, and city at work. And so while I appreciate our colleague from Lehigh City making a presentation, it is the district manager's goal to bring to task this agency. We have a new commissioner. She's a former leader and a provider for a Lehigh City funded program who loves young people, and we want to have her be able to highlight that love for the South Bronx. And so we hope that we unfortunately didn't have the connection in the email like you mentioned. And so we was not able to prepare questions in advance. So we'll work on that communication.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to have this committee be able to learn more about what is DYCD funding, how are our young people being engaged, and how are we making sure that our young people are chosen to be engaged in these programs. And so this is why this letter came out about.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing. Does anybody have any questions regarding anything that she shared?
So yeah, I actually had a quick question. When it comes to all these programs, would they be available on your website, or how are we supposed to see people?
So they're available on our website. You could look for the workforce programs, you know, the more historical also content of the new RFP that came out. For Compass, you'll see all the new awardees, what the system was to be able to distribute, you know, the new RFPs and identify the providers that got. So all of that is on the website and available, but we could also share specific contact information if there's, you know, you want to create referrals, you know, to specific organizations based on the needs of, you know, the community and the participants that you're servicing.
Yeah.
I just want to again highlight why this is important. We have, so every community board, especially the community board, has over 300,000 constituents so that we represent. That's people who live, and we know the Bronx is growing, and so that's, and again, that's what I wanted to emphasize. And we have some educators and education leaders here who are working with young people every day, and then, so we hear from everyone across the platform about this. But it's also important that we understand not only youth, but the CBDG, NDA, all the programs and how those programs are functioning. And so it is important for us to be able to be not be proactive, and that is not adversarial. And I just want that to be clear going back to the agency and to our board members. But as we're going to have more young people, especially after the summer is over, who will be more engaged in this community board and this committee specifically under the leadership. And is that as even young people on the spectrum and learning how is DYCD encouraging current funders, future of current fundees about how programs are servicing folks on a spectrum, because we have an advocate on our board who's been here for a while who unfortunately we are finding it that families who have young people on the spectrum have to go outside of their communities to be able to get services, whether it is services relating to family, like services, employment services. So I guess one of my questions would be, as you talked about, let me stand, I apologize. When we talked about these workforce development programs, can you get examples about what services are for workforce development for young people who are on a spectrum?
Yeah, so we partner with AHRC. They're historically known for supporting young people with neurodivergent disabilities. And so with them, we specifically did government sectors and culinary sectors based on their capacities. And so what they do in the government sector, we put them to work in offices, community-based organizations. We have a young person as an assistant teacher, because it's all based on the capacity. So HRC creates different credentials to support young people with disabilities. So that is one of the providers that we work, because that is their forte. Like, they have the capacity to create credentials, because a lot of the young people with disabilities do not come in with a high school diploma. And so they have a specific public school diploma that's given to young. And so because we create a pathway to specifically support them, because we know that it's still a high school diploma in the sense of that they graduated, but what happens is a lot of jobs don't accepted.
Yeah.
And so we have to be very intentional about how we, that's why we partner with community-based organizations to create these pathways specifically for our neurodivergent population. And HRC does an amazing job, a very, very intentional work with them. And if you wanna look it up, but we could also share with you the work
Sure,
that.
is that in the district, and we have numbers about how many young people
I was
go
gonna
to
ask
this
that.
district that are?
Yeah, so the Bronx site is at the end of the 2 line, it's not in this specific district, but what happens is because it's a specific pilot for young people with disabilities, the families travel.
Do you know how many slots
Currently, we have 60 slots.
of 20?
For the entire borough.
For this specific, area of the borough, Because there aren't a lot of community-based organizations have to apply for the RFPs. And so we tried to reach out to the community, like when the RFP specifically for Train and Earn came out last year, to get in some buy-in. So AHRC was the only one that was specific to support neurodivergent population, that applied.
So it was 60 slots for all of the Bronx?
No, for that specific community-based organization that works
With
with,
the neurodivergent, okay.
Citywide.
no, for citywide, we have for Queens, we
But for the
have,
Bronx, it was
yeah,
just
for the
ARC.
Bronx, yeah.
So that means that was only 60,
Yeah, for that specific
Yeah.
organization,
Right.
okay.
Are there other organizations then you saying, or you saying?
There are, but they didn't apply for the RFP.
I'm hoping the one.
So then-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Cause
wanna,
we bring it out, we share the information, we try, to bring awareness, but they have to be able to apply for the RFP. So the only one
That's crazy.
that applied.
How much money was the RFP?
So each of the providers, depending on the sector that they chose to support, so for example, HRC, because they work with neurodivergent population, they chose the government sector. Because they knew in that space, it was easier for them to be able to genuinely get jobs for that specific population. And so, they applied for 60 slots. So every provider decides the capacity that they think they have to serve.
And was the award per slot?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Madam Chair, may I?
Yeah.
So, as we know, we have the highest, per capita of people families who have, young people who live with them, who are dependent upon them for sometimes a lifetime, but definitely early on, who are on a spectrum. And I know you said that, you alluded to it, I wanna paraphrase that, that the agency reached out to try to make sure that they know this RFP is available. How is the agency looking to, compensate, but to be able to help service those families, because the slots are going yesterday? And so how is the agency looking at making sure that these families, because we understand that it takes a while to get these folks acclimated. There was a lot of concern, and I know there's an appeal process happening now for a couple of agencies whose funding structures change or that will be refunded. And so I want to just learn more about how are we looking at trying to, and the commissioner mentioned that kids will adjust when there are changes in programs and funding and so on. So I would want to have a more passionate conversation, because while kids are looking to adjust, I think young people find themselves adjusting often because of decisions that are made by adults. So how are you looking to encourage young people in your decision making when you're looking at funding structures or programmatic needs, et cetera?
Yeah, so when the Train and Earn RFP came out, there were community work groups. Because we don't work specifically with schools, we had to bring in the community. And so there were studies done and work groups with young adults. We brought in providers, community-based organizations, community leaders. The Train and Earn RFP was restructured completely based on, the feedback. And this took us almost a year and a half in order to get the information to kind of address what wasn't working historically for the Train and Earn program, how do we make these adjustments? And then that's when we were intentional about creating sector-specific credentialing tracks for the Train and Earn program, because I think before it was so broad that we saw like gaps in different communities and they had different needs. And it was so locked in that if, because communities change within 2 to 3 years, depending on the population. And so Train and Earn used to be locked, like you can't change your credential, you have to do this, and that didn't work, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to adjust to the community, and so, for example, 4 years ago, culinary was a big thing, right? Where young people were coming in to get credentialed, that's not the case after COVID, right? And so, those are examples of how we had to be intentional about how we rewrote the RFP, but it was all based on like community feedback, community-based organizations, leaders, and specifically young people they did work groups. We had an evaluator, which is what I guess was to come in and work with young people specifically because they have the experience. And they were honest, they were really honest about what worked, what didn't work. And I think what the greatest feedback was that they love to support the wraparound services. So for example, each of the contracts had to have a mandatory social worker, 2 case managers, a job developer, outreach specialist, a program director, and an academic coordinator. So like we were trying to be very intentional about like what
My
works.
time is expired, so but I thank you for your opinion, and I look forward to, continue to chat going forward.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
gave us
Chair.
some valuable information, so we thank you, and we hope to have a deeper conversation. So I think the district manager is gonna bump that email again for us to have a meeting in September.
That works.
Do you have a card?
I did not think it was these virtual cards that no one has.
We'll ask
Have
the
your
manager.
phone. Yeah, but I'll definitely share my
Yeah.
email. Because every time someone taps it, it never
Yeah.
logs into their phone.
So before we move forward, Andres, do we want to put the vote on the table for the fellowship?
Right, yeah, I think it would be a good time to vote on this item briefly, that's all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about moving forward on this opportunity with the bid? I think that it would be good for us. From my understanding, the bid is gonna do the majority of the work, which means it's really us being able to support and really even come up with like what the question potentially is and some ideas.
I really think the traffic is like a big thing, especially when you get all these schools that opening, like even this morning I was saying that like, how is this gonna work with the Isabel traffic?
And in
with the
August,
15 bus,
we got 3 more schools opening up.
Yeah,
Wow.
Fifth Avenue, that's how I was like, how is this gonna work?
Yeah.
Cause this dream and it's the traffic is horrible, and this situation is gonna cause issues, but like, certain fights, we gotta pick and choose, because they're gonna say, well, we was here first.
Yeah.
Right.
And they still chose the school, so it's like,
Yeah, so how do we feel? Do we wanna we're gonna put a vote on this. I do believe that we should, work on this with the bid. I think that it would be a great idea, so I'm gonna vote yes on it.
Can I,
What is the time that you're working on it?
right, that's the, like, would we meet virtually before they submit the application? That's the question.
I'm gonna ask for a motion. I'm gonna let my vice chair do it. Go ahead.
Oh, the motion?
Okay, good.
Well, we already submitted the motion, yeah.
You made a motion.
Yes.
Yeah, and then second, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all in favor of it?
Yes.
So,
So now we're
you had
voting
a
on
question, real quick, yeah.
We
Yes.
just want to ask, since we'll be not meeting again until the fall, will this mean we'll try to meet virtually with Ben to connect, or how would that?
That's gonna be the next question.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so we do wanna know
yes,
what are we looking at in regards to the summertime?
yeah.
Do we wanna meet virtually? Do we wanna go out to have lunch in the district? Do we wanna meet here? And so I think that we can, talk about that today.
Okay.
But do we think that we need to talk about that before we can vote on this?
Yeah, I think so, because
Mhm.
you can say yes to something, but the
Okay.
action plan that you have to create in order for it to come to fruition, if that's not mapped out, you may not be able to actually say yes to it.
Mhm.
Got it.
Additionally, I thought this meeting today, we were gonna discuss what our, maybe our goals would be for next year, so that we can start strong.
Under that.
That was like one of the reasons why we were trying to confirm attendance and whatnot
Yeah.
today, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds great, and things are gonna sound great
Mm-hmm.
when they come, and you may feel like, oh, we gotta jump on it. But if you can't address it with the fidelity and the quality that to that it deserves,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not gonna get the biggest bang.
Get
I
open
think
into the
I
conversation.
agree with you 100%. I think I had a conversation outside of like the community board, and I've read on this, so I believe that the bid is going to be the main
the main driver on this. They both submitted previous proposals on this.
what do they need us for then?
They need us first to submit the proposal.
Sorry if it sounds like.
No,
like, just give me direct.
You're good, yeah.
Okay. Where we at? What's required of us?
Right.
We needed to
Right,
vote
so-
and talk about it, so then,
Like
you
a
know.
year, like if there's a way we can talk
I
about the
think-
year planning, it folds in.
I think
Yeah.
one, it looks good
Yeah.
for them to have the community board with them, right?
It does give them a significant.
Submitting the proposal, and that puts them at a higher points when they are doing a rubric on who we're gonna apply for this award. So I think, and then I also think that they're being strategic with the committee that they're choosing. And I'm okay with that if that works for us, right?
Mm-hmm. Because we
That,
would
that's
look
what
at
I'm thinking of,
changes
like, is it gonna work for us,
I
or the
think that-
audience that we're trying
to reach. and
I
stuff like
think,
that.
I think that it would, if we actually said we wanna do this traffic and neighborhood
Yeah.
safety. The
Okay.
vacancy, the retail vacancy, then you don't need us. Go speak with economic development and zoning.
Well, are there other issues besides the traffic? Because
Yeah,
I,
we
you
like
know,
the plaza.
one of the reasons one of the things you all had highlighted was that part of this traffic and what to anticipate is all these charter schools. And I think I've been quite, you know, transparent, like I'm not for it at all because we have some quality public schools that are here in this space and I don't think there are like intentional partnerships with that exist. Now, I'm a product of the public school system, not New York City, but Chicago, but I've invested in New York City public schools.
Yeah,
And, so.
yeah.
No, I think the plaza would be another interesting idea too.
I think the plaza is also, and when you have to leave. Okay,
Oh.
do we still have quorum if she leaves
Oh.
to vote?
No,
How about,
but wait, let me just make sure, that's my understanding is that.
Okay.
Can we do a contingent vote?
Oh, yeah. You're saying
Sorry,
Seth.
you do, yes,
We do if she
yes,
leaves?
yes.
Okay, okay. Off the record, is this something that you would wanna do?
No,
On the record,
no.
but off the record, like, it's something you would be interested in.
traffic, again, like with the whole traffic.
Okay,
I'm for that.
I just wanted to hear her voice.
Okay.
Perfect, thank
So wanna
you.
do it, right.
So,
would this be okay, like, if we have a vote contingent on us meeting with Ben once more before we meet, in September?
I think that's
does
how we
that
should
work?
do it.
Yeah.
If we decide to vote yes, it would be contingent on understanding fully what we need to move forward with,
Mhm.
along with executive committee approval.
Got it.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the summer first. I also wanna open the floor, if you guys need to leave, you guys can leave, if you guys wanna stay here and listen, more than welcome, but I know the Knicks are playing, and, yes. But thank you guys so much for being here, we appreciate it, I'm on.
That's awesome, thank you.
Thank you. And then whoever
Sorry,
wants to
so much,
stay,
yes,
of
thank you.
course, yes. Okay, all right, I'll text you. Okay, bye. Bye.
Later.
Yes, I will.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. And sure, I want to share my apologies and my thanks for adding Mr. Alvarado from Walnut. He just came to mind because Anthony and he presented to us virtually and talked about the plans to try to activate the waterfront, get things going in Port Morris, painting the side of the building, like doing things for youth and family, because he feels like in Brooklyn and Queens and other boroughs, there are all these block parties and things, and he thinks there could be more done on the waterfront. So hopefully he could present to the board in the future at the end of the month.
Okay.
But I'm really liking what he's thinking, and it makes me think of South Bronx Unite and other activation work that's been happening. So hopefully he can meet us all in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And I think that these agendas are supposed to be open
Okay.
and with the ability to edit it last
Okay.
minute, because that is just what happens sometimes.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
yeah, for sure.
So,
So do you want me to go over the community updates before we start talking about?
summer and future.
And I'm gonna
Brief,
be, I'm gonna be
Okay.
super quick, right?
Gotcha, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Early Monroe, we toured the Earl Monroe New Renaissance Basketball School.
Okay.
That's going to be across the street. It was when we walked over there that we started to say, whoa, hold on, this school's opening and this school's
Wow.
opening and this school.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, there was a capacity already or like a limit to the charter schools, but it seems that their charter schools have submitted these licenses years ago, and now they're like actually being developed and opening up. So that's my understanding, and we have about 3 new schools that are opening up.
That's 3, one is already open, and, may I chair, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And then we have, AECI is moving from their Cardinal Spellman space here, where this building is built in 2 years, and actually Chair mentioned, Monroe Sports and Career is moving from, their Pelham Bay space to this new space here.
Yep. And it's a beautiful school. World-class gym, open 7 days a week, open untraditional hours. They want to make a commitment to the community, and I am all for strategic partnerships. Because I think if you're going to be in the community, then what does that actually look like?
Yeah.
So we have a tour. They're going to have a rooftop garden. They are also looking for some support from the bid regarding closing one of the, Andres, correct me if I'm wrong. It's like
Elton Avenue.
yes, on Elton Avenue, they want to add towards the sidewalk or towards the
Focus
street.
is open street, so it's gonna close off the existing, throughway or street toward driving traffic on Elton Avenue, which is almost directly in front of their, out there school building. It will now be
It's like a
dedicated.
triangle,
Yes.
so.
Oh,
They're not closed off.
So it's Third Ave and Elton, right?
Yeah.
Each other's like a tiny triangle where I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys see
Right.
Like 153rd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they wanna close off that Elton Avenue side and open that to just open Clay Street for the school.
For the school, do the school hours activation, then it's open, and it's still gonna be closed off. And DOT is planning to rechange that. It's gonna be a place where, if you think of Times Square, where there's, tables and chairs and other stuff, and the street is very bright and painted and highlighted. That's the goal of what's gonna happen. That's nice.
They want to add more lighting. And the founder seems very passionate about being able to get feedback from community, and even talk about what safety can look like.
Yeah, so they were also talking to the Third Avenue bid as well. They also came in and they want to have conversations with NYPD. They want to have monthly meetings there, just to see how we can get that public safety corridor, maybe a plan proposal. Just because they're also having some subscription issues with some of their people moving from Pelham Bay over to this location here. They presented last time. They presented, yeah. So that's they only returned about 2/3. So they want us to potentially go into further conversations with that. So that's sort of the brief update we have.
Yeah.
School, but.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then the book exchange, I wanted to hear how it went on Saturday. I know that there's one more at the end of the month. And then my question is this gonna continue in the summer regardless of the committee or the community board having a hold or a break during the summer? And then where are we with the appreciation letters for the donors?
I have it. I just didn't send it to you.
It's
It's in Canva. It's so short too.
Okay, it's almost there. So you're gonna send it over to Anthony?
Yes.
Do you know by when?
I need a reminder. Send me a reminder.
Okay, so
Put it in the WhatsApp.
Christina, can you send her a
Absolutely.
reminder
It's
on,
the end of the school year.
You can say, Joyce, can you confirm that you send this to Anthony?
You got it.
And then I can reply.
Christina?
Absolutely.
Is that exactly how it's gonna go?
That should be just like that. That's how it has to be.
Absolutely.
Amanda's gonna remind Christina.
Yeah.
Christina's gonna-
It's the end of the school year, so we just need help
It's okay.
from all of us.
Amanda.
Yes.
Text
You got it.
Christina, Christina
And you
text
guys in summer
Joyce.
school?
Well, I'm not principal in charge, so.
Oh, okay. And I'm
I'm not
not,
allowed to do
but I'm
summer.
transitioning to a new school position. I'll be at
Oh,
another.
position, another school.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's on the And it's actually here in the South Bronx.
Oh,
So I'm
good.
excited about that, and they're doing a summer practicum, so a busy summer.
That's
Yeah, I'm
good.
excited.
Okay, are we continuing this in the summertime?
What does it look like? What?
Yeah,
What will be the commitment? What are we talking about?
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
I'm
So
not
we-
here in August.
So just an update on the books, we probably have about a bag left of books, so according to Stephanie, so that's what we're working with.
Yes.
it might go by the end of this, upcoming last.
We have more
We have
before you one.
like about five.
Five
Oh,
back there, you have a couple here.
Wow.
But one is on the,
One's at the,
Not
at
that
the
big.
location, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, maybe she was referring to that.
To that one that's left on location.
Had you guys excited for a second.
I
was like,
know,
what?
I know, but
I was joking.
I know we've discussed, like, when we were out there, like, the summer with scheduling might be really tough, and so
Yeah.
maybe this last event, the 27th with a bid, and maybe we break for recess. There was conversations about, like, buying or working with the bid to have some sort of nice permanent setup where people could take a book and leave a book permanently,
That would be
and just let
really
it go
nice.
for the summer, and then come back refreshed in the fall.
That would be really nice. How do we feel about that on
Just
Third
letting
Avenue?
people just take what they, you know, like,
Talking about-
like a little library.
Yeah, what would
Yeah.
that look like though?
I know, I
Yeah.
forgot who we were talking to, said like.
We have
could
to
ask
have a
them-
lot of faith
I
to
bet
put
people-
that
I
out
know.
there and to think
know.
and to believe that it's gonna stay.
It's gonna stay in
It's
good
gonna stay
condition.
there.
You know, but also say, I think taking a break would be good, you know, for the summer. I know I'll be traveling a lot and all
Yeah.
over the place, but what do you guys
Traveling,
think?
so-
I just
But
wanna
it'd be
get
nice,
people-
but it's just.
I wanna add that
Yeah.
that while we likely, we're gonna obviously be extremely active too, because we have some of these kids and we're doing a lot of district assessment stuff, we're walking around the district. We don't know yet what the administration has in mind for final, activation of that space, because remember, it's still
Right.
big control for a period of time, but if there's nothing happening in the plan for the summer, the city may say, bust it open, take the gates down, whatever, or it may say, whatever, so we're still working, we need to learn more from the city about what they plan on doing. I believe there's gonna be some special attention paid to the city, because that's when that space was likely became a big issue press-wise, always, but in the summer. So we're still crossing our fingers and seeing, working with the administration to say, hey, what do you have planned for us? Whether it's a permanent short gate or whatever it is. So this, whatever we plan, this has a contingency
That's
for
a
that.
great point. Well, one other thing that just came to mind, will we continue to have the pantry during the summer, right? Maybe we put out books that go out during pantry and just people can continue. But again, something that can run on its own, I think would be nice. What do you think?
So I was gonna say, so at Bronx Tech, we have a community library.
Mm-hmm.
Every library, every book that we have has been donated by community.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm also cool with that being open
Mhm.
and it being like the community board one book exchange or like the
Like
committee.
just on site.
And on site, they
Yeah.
can come in at any time.
Yeah.
We can even talk about maybe doing like one day for 3 hours. So
Yeah.
I work all summer.
So you're gonna be, you know,
So
willing.
it's gonna be open.
Mm.
We have a lot of DYCD kids coming. We have a lot of summer activations. We actually want to put a like cube organizer in front of the center.
Okay.
And put books. I did that last summer, and I have some really
Cool.
pretty pictures of like after hours people coming to get books.
That's really nice.
So
there's some possibilities.
I'm open to that if the committee wanted to do that, and that's only for the summer, just so it doesn't look like there's a break happening, but there's like
It's kind of like
continuity.
active, because I also know Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her team reached out, they're doing their summer library, the reading challenge, and they have like printout materials that we can pair with the book exchange. So it'd be nice to keep it active, but something self-sustaining would be nice.
My
That's-
center's in her district.
Okay,
So if
that's
she
a-
wanted to do a pop-up or any of her
Yeah.
staff wanted to do a pop-up and
That
it
would
could
be
be like this committee's book exchange, we can do a thing.
That's an option. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be a possibility. Anthony, could I ask, like, if are there any possibility? You know, I like that cube setup that you mentioned outside of the center. Could there be something similar outside of the office where people can stop by, even if we're not manning?
So I don't wanna plan for anything yet, because we have a new staff person coming on, we have done training for that before anything yet, planning for summer, but
Okay.
that we'll take that idea into consideration.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the landlord would think, we're putting something
Okay.
outside, so
Permanently.
I wanna make sure of
Yeah.
that. Cause if you put some permanent outside, it needs to make sure it's structured in a way that's having it's extremely heavy, it
Yeah.
can be taken off.
Yeah.
So weights, cement, concrete, whatever that's a base that needs to be put in the bottom to prevent people from, because we did purchase something that
We
is
got our
all
little
put together,
structure,
it's
yeah.
nice and pretty, ready to go. But I can circle back and put
Yeah.
in the chat about that ask.
Okay.
If that's fair, by before the general board.
Sure. You know, I feel like we had a good run. I feel like we had a really good run through the rain, the sleet, the snow. So
Can
we,
we
you know,
estimate how many people you guys likely engaged over the creation to current? I mean,
over 1,000. That number is out. I don't know.
you know how many books donated? Maybe?
We can look at the spreadsheet again, but well over
500.
500, I would say. Well
Oh, yeah,
over
I think over
500
1,000.
books. Maybe over 1,000.
Really?
You would
Yeah,
say?
1,000.
Yeah.
Are you saying 1,000 unique individuals, or are you saying
Oh, no,
1,000?
not people, I'm talking about books.
Books,
Oh,
yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Individuals.
It's hard to say, but over 1,000 books is comfortable, you would say.
Of all genres.
John, yeah. Yeah.
That's something
something
good
to
to
be proud
highlight,
of.
and that's something good to highlight.
Yeah.
Like, do we have some good pictures that can be highlighted on social
Definitely.
media?
Yeah, we took a
Definitely
lot
can
during
compile
these
some
events,
pictures,
yeah.
make a video and
Stephanie did some videos
Yes.
and stuff like that, so
it
we
was
can
fun.
definitely recapture as much stuff as possible of all the different things that this community's done, but especially the book exchange.
Okay.
So maybe we can put a pause on it
I think so.
for
I
the
think so, for the
summertime, and then
summer.
get people excited again for September.
Yeah, get
So
some
is
more
the plan to
volunteers.
continue the book exchange next season?
Yes, I think so. I think as well, up to everybody, you know, when we do our like year-long planning, but I think it was a low lift. Well, maybe not low lift, but it was a success and it made a visible impact. So I think it's something we should put on the table for next season.
Let's
Because I thought we would come together to talk about next season today.
That,
Right,
yeah,
that's-
I'm
that's-
hoping we can.
I was gonna just say that right now, because I think everything else kind of falls into what next season.
Yeah, it does. It
So,
does.
I wanna ask you guys, what do you think next season can potentially look like? What are the goals?
Ooh.
Are we taking a break this summer? Do we wanna do one check-in in the summer? Do you wanna have lunch somewhere in the summer? You know, like what?
I think, yeah, a check-in should be fine. I think to also discuss, various other things, just to see how we're doing regarding, updates with planning and stuff. I don't know if we have, anything that needs summer planning, like maybe like, book exchange, getting more books, or maybe getting, partnerships with local libraries to see if we can get maybe a book club going, to see if we can, get that started. I know we were talking about it with Stephanie, so.
I think we need to identify maybe like a list of different events / initiatives and then vote on that. Like you know what I mean? Like break it down like that, because although the book exchange appeared to be a low lift, there were still the same people who were supporting it, and it became a lot, right? Even if it was twice a week. I mean, twice a year. So, and then I actually have a question in terms of the participation. Did we have increased participation by being at the bid versus just being out here?
Good question.
I don't know, because depending on where you set up and how you set up in that triangle area, if people can't really see the books as if like walking outside, then
I think